Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosbus.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer. Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Gary. Commissioner Lynn.
Here.
Commissioner Osterhout.
Here.
Commissioner Twardy.
Here.
Commissioner Lynn.
Move to excuse Commissioner Gary and
Commissioner.
Bauer.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I see we have a full house, so that we'd also ask those with cell phones, if you would please put them on vibrate or silence them. We would appreciate it. First order of business, I understand, is the Exemplary Customer Service Award. And I'll let the city manager, Oliver Turner, take it from there.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners,
Evening.
staff, and community. With me tonight, we have Tricia Dalger, who is our Utility Billing Coordinator. And for the awareness of the city, at its January 18th, 2016 regular meeting, the Sault Ste. Marie City Commission adopted a citizen service philosophy. This service philosophy calls on all employees to take ownership in being positive ambassadors for the city government and the community, to be mindful that first impressions or chance encounters can define the identity of the city and even encourage guests or others to move to or invest in the community, and to strive for excellence in service standards at all times. At the time of the adoption of the philosophy, the City Commission requested that City Administration develop a means to publicly thank and recognize those employees who fulfill these goals. Accordingly, City Administration has developed a process whereby employees are nominated by their peers for excellence in citizen service. These nominations are reviewed by an internal committee that meets quarterly and then forwarded to the City Manager recommendations for approval. I am pleased to announce that Utility Billing Coordinator Tricia Dalgert has earned the Exemplary Citizen Service Award for the first quarter of 2016. In the position of Utility Billing Coordinator, Tricia exercises constant professionalism, diligence, and integrity. Given the nature of this position, Tricia also works very reasonably with utility customers, demonstrating empathy and a true concern for the members of our community. And as an excellent ambassador for the city, Tricia works with the recognition that each and every encounter a citizen has with the city is not only a reflection of her work, but also a reflection of the community as a whole. I am pleased to recognize Tricia for earning this award. We thank her for commitment to the citizen service philosophy, and to present this certificate, which bears the signature of the mayor as well as city manager, thanking her for her continued commitment to the city. Thank you, Tricia.
Certainly, on behalf of the Commission, we certainly congratulate Trish, and keep up the good work. Excellent. Item number 2 is the Purple Heart City, and we're pleased to present a proclamation that we'll read, and this is the city's proclamation, and I'll be joined at the podium by a couple of gentlemen I'll identify in just after I read the proclamation. It's the city of Sault Ste. Marie, a Purple Heart City. Whereas the citizens of the city of Sault Ste. Marie have great admiration and utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country in this community in the armed forces. And whereas veterans have paid the high price of freedom by leaving their families and communities and placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women from the city of Sault Ste. Marie who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and ways of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created as the badge of military merit by General George Washington in 1782. And whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award or decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat. And whereas many citizens of our community have earned the Purple Heart Medal as a result of being wounded while engaged in combat with an enemy force. Now therefore, I, Anthony G. Bosmas, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, do hereby proclaim the City of Sault Ste. Marie a Purple Heart City and encourage the citizens of this city, of Sault Ste. Marie, to show their appreciation for the sacrifices the Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms, and to acknowledge their courage and to show them the honor and support that they have earned. And witness there here and set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to be affixed this 16th day of May 2016. Anthony G. Bosmas, Mayor. And going along with that, we have in the audience tonight representing the Military Order of the Purple Heart, the State Commander Greg Weaver, and also from the Petoskey chapter, Ron Knapp. And if you gentlemen would meet me at the podium.
Mayor Bosmas, City Council members, veteran organizations, citizens, business, welcome you here today. Thank you for coming. We'd like to present you, Mayor, with the flag. And you can fly this here or any building around the city that you wish. And that's only given out, yes, to the Purple Heart cities here.
That's delegation.
That ain't gonna stay.
Good try.
Okay. Also at this time, Ron and Dale will come, the Senior Vice Commander from Escanaba. And Ron is our adjutant, department adjutant, and also past department commander for the state.
This is a Department of Michigan transportation approved sign. And we hope you would place that on your city limits. And Dale would like to challenge you. All over the nation, many of the stores and communities are creating Purple Heart parking spots, and strictly for combat wounded veterans. So we challenge you to find a place suitable in your community, put this parking sign.
Sure. Is it, do we have more than one, or is it?
It's the only one I have.
I mean, do you have more than one in the community, I think, or is it?
You can, no, you can get as many.
You can get more than
Yes.
Yes, sir. All right.
Actually, they come through Wounded Warriors Family Support, which is not affiliated with Wounded Warrior Program.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And also at this time, I would like to present to the mayor a plaque from our department. The Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with the pride to the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, for your dedication and support honoring America's combat wounded veterans, becoming the Purple Heart City, presented by the Patriot members of the Department of Michigan Military Order of the Purple Heart. Before I present my next award here, I just wanted to say on a special note that, and I'm not just saying this, I just became commander this past weekend, and you're the first that I get to go and give a presentation to. So we're kind of a charter here together, right? Okay. The Sioux, and I mean this from my heart, the Sioux has always been a special place for me. My wife and I spent one of our honeymoon nights here, okay? I've been to numerous conventions here. My wife and daughter we came up, and one of the things they remember forever, I think, is taking one of those boat rides through the locks and so on. You know, they love that. I personally like your Great Lake whitefish pan-fried, but I just wanted to say that on a personal note. At this time, could I please have Patriot John Riley come forward? As you know, when something happens, a person says, I want it to happen. Why aren't we doing this? And John heard of another city, became a Purple Heart city. Well, why can't I do that? So John started asking people, going to veteran organizations, business, government, and I guess it became a task, okay? And now it's reality. And I wanted to thank you, sir. And for that, I'd like to read this to you. The Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with pride to John R. Riley for your loyalty and dedication honoring combat wounded veterans of the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Presented by the Patriot members of the Department of Michigan Military Order of the Purple Heart. Thank you, folks.
Okay. I would like to thank the veterans who showed up here tonight. This is all for you. I'm not a veteran. I have 2 boys that are. But I saw this and I figured what an outstanding opportunity to honor our vets. So this night is for you. Thank you.
Sure, Ron.
John, we're not going to let you off that easy. You told me you were having some get-togethers with the rest of the veterans in the community. I'd like all the veterans to know that I've given him some applications to belong to the Purple Heart if you are an eligible veteran. The application, if it's sent to me, the membership will be free for life from the Department of Michigan. And we'd welcome any of you to the order. And if you get real ambitious, we'd love to see a chapter of the Purple Heart in Sault Ste. Marie.
Thank you, Ron. And I had talked with the chief before about being part of the group that was up here, and he didn't want to be any part of the, so it was just great to see that he was commended from you folks, because John Riley really did take this under his wing and did the effort and the work to make this happen. So we as a commission, certainly as a community, thank him for his efforts, and certainly thank you all for coming up, and the veterans groups that are here tonight. We know how strong they are in this community and the area as a whole, and we appreciate their support and their efforts to keep this Sault Ste. Marie what it is, so we continue to thank them.
Well
Thank you.
done, Sault Ste. Marie.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll display it proudly. Thank you. We'll give you a second to, those that want to leave, you don't want to stay for the whole meeting, feel free. Again, thank you for coming. Okay, moving on to item number 3 is public comment on scheduled agenda items. Any person may reserve time to speak on an agenda item not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, we have several hands, so let's just start here on the right side, and we'll start with the lady right here. If you could give the city clerk your name.
Joanne Conley on 7A.
Sir?
Vincent Lumetta on 7A, that's Lumetta.
Okay. On this side?
David Dwyer, Mackinac City. I'd like to speak on the pipeline.
Okay. Yes, sir?
Rich Lewis, item 7A.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Joe Calcaterra, item 7A, please.
Okay, Joe?
Leslie Dobberton on 7A, please.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Anthony Tracer, Matt Cloud, and 7A.
Let's go to this side. Yes.
Anne Marie Astor, 7A.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Danielle Page, 7A.
What was your name?
Danielle.
Okay, Daniel. Thanks. Daniel. Phil?
Phil Belton, 7A.
We get everybody? Okay, thank you. And then when item comes up, we'll have some background information, and then we'll give you an opportunity to speak, and then we'll go to the commission after that, okay? Okay, thank you. Before we go to the consent agenda, I just wanted folks to also know that during the public comment time, which is near the end of the meeting, Cloverland representatives are here. Dan Daschel is here, and he will just kind of give an update on the tree activities and also talk about when they will expect to use the commission chambers to inform folks and then talk about some additional meetings that they're planning. So we appreciate Dan being here tonight also. And it was too late to put him on the agenda, but he's willing to stay here and wait through wait till the comment period. So we appreciate that. Item number 4 is the consent agenda. Assistant City Manager Troyer.
Under the consent agenda, A, minute approval. 1, approval of the minutes of the regular city commission meeting of May 2nd, 2016. Recommended action, approve the minutes of the regular city commission meeting of May 2nd, 2016. Item 2, acceptance of the minutes of the following boards and commissions. A, Dial-A-Ride Local Advisory Council of April 19th. B, Downtown Development Authority of March 9th and April 13th. C, Historic Structures Management Committee of April 27th. D, PEHP of the Firefighters Unit of April 25th, and E, Sault Ste. Marie Housing Commission of March 18th. Recommended action, accept the minutes of the various boards and commissions. Item B, appointments and resignations. 1, resignation from the Planning Commission. Recommended action, accept the resignation of Marla Bunker from the Planning Commission for a term that expires April 19, 2017, and send a letter of thanks for her service to this board. Item 2, resignation, reappointments, and appointment to the Downtown Development Authority. Recommended action is to accept the resignation from Will Carr, reappointment of Raymond Bell for a term to expire April 1, 2019, reappointment of Carl Stutzner for a term to expire April 1, 2020, and appointment of Marla Bunker for a term to expire on April 1, 2020. Item 3, reappointment to the PEHP Firefighters Unit. Recommended action, reappoint Fred Schneider to the PEHP Firefighters Unit for a term to expire on March 15, 2018, and reappoint Kristen Collins to the PEHP Firefighters Unit for a term to expire on March 15, 2019. Item C, communications. 1, from Community Action Human Resource Authority. MDOT Project Authorization 2012-0162/P11/R1. Recommended action is to authorize the city manager and city clerk to execute MDOT Project Authorization 2012-0162/P11/R1 fiscal year 2016 Section 5311 Operating Formula Grants for Rural Areas Program. Item 2 under communications is from Chippewa County. Waiver of first right of refusal on Chippewa County tax foreclosures. Recommended action is to authorize the city manager to sign the waiver of first right of refusal. Item 3 is from Michigan Liquor Control Commission. Transfer of ownership on a 2015 Class C and SDM license for My Monkeys Enterprise LLC, located at 716 Ashman Street here in the Sioux. There is no action required from the commission. This is an informational item. Item D under the city manager's report is authorization to sign closing documents for the golf course properties. Recommended action is to adopt the language as presented in the agenda packet.
Okay, thank you. Is there any commissioner who would like something further explained on the consent agenda? Commissioner Gage.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Boswis.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage.
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn.
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout.
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 5, special orders of business. A is public hearing on single lot special assessment roll SL-1N-16 and SL-1W-16. A is public comment, and B is action on the single lot special assessment. And please note, there is an updated schedule that was distributed to the commission on the dais.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. Twice annually, in time for the summer tax bill and winter tax bill, City Administration develops a list of unpaid bills related to specific properties for consideration as a single lot special assessment. This includes bills generated by the Inspection Department, as well as any outstanding water bills where water has typically been terminated and the bill remains unpaid. Please note that the city will not regularly turn on the water unless the bill is paid in full. It's my recommendation that the Mayor and City Commission conduct a public hearing on single lot special assessment roll SL-1N-16 and single lot special assessment roll SL-1W-16, and secondarily, following any comments received during the public hearing, that the City Commission confirm the noted special assessment rolls. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll hold the single lot special assessment roll on the prescribed lots that were, and the single lot assessment roll on those lots that were outlined by the city manager. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioner Osterhout.
I so move that we support the city manager's recommendation.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Tuardi.
Just a quick question. Is 2210 Riverside Drive, is that going up or is that staying consistent or going down? Because it seems to me like the last figure that I saw, it was less than this.
City manager.
Thank you, Commissioner. Since the time the repayment arrangement was structured, that amount has decreased and the payments have been received. Recently, that agreement was lengthened by approximately, I believe, 4 to 5 months. However, they have been in frequent communication and have been, by and large, faithful with the agreement that was reached as far as payments.
Thank you. So that, yeah, that's an example of how an agreement can work out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it continues to get less and less.
Yep.
Anyone else? We have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuardi?
Yes.
Mayor Boswis?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B under special orders of business is public hearings and adoption of the 2016-2017 fiscal year budget.
City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As commissioners are aware, within recent weeks, the City Commission has received, reviewed, modified, and formally introduced for adoption a budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending June 30, 2017, and has received, reviewed, modified, and introduced the budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017 and ending June 30, 2018. Connectedly, at its May 2nd regular meeting, the City Commission scheduled various public hearings regarding the proposed budget during this budget meeting, or during this commission meeting, excuse me. More specifically, these include 4 separate public hearings that must be held to establish the tax levy for the city's user fee schedule, water and sewer system charges, and the General Appropriations Act. Following these public hearings and a consideration of any public feedback received during the same, the Commission will thereafter be able to adopt resolutions formally approving the 2016-17 fiscal year budget. Importantly, the proposed budget and associated documents are accessible on the City of Sault Ste. Marie's website, at the Bayless Public Library, and in the office of the City Clerk. To summarize the 2016-17 fiscal year budget and 17-18 fiscal year budget, the general fund unrestricted fund balance ratio for the 2016 to 2017 fiscal year budget following the special meeting held by the City Commission to reconcile the budget is approximately 22.8% for fiscal year 17 and 23.8% for fiscal year 18, both of which exceed the city's minimum fund balance policy of 20%. Additionally, the city continues to deal with the impact of significant losses in state revenue sharing, which have dropped over the past 15 years from approximately $2.1 million annually to just over $1.53 million annually. As well, the Police and Fire Pension Board has adhered to assumptions that will, in the long run, help to stabilize the pension fund. These assumptions do require additional millage support in order to stabilize the fund. The proposed budget includes approximately a 0.1208 millage adjustment to the millage in order to meet actuarial requirements for this fund, the funding ratio of which has increased from 50 to 56% within recent years. As well, the Water and Sewer Fund is performing in accordance with expectations. There is an increase proposed in water and sewer rates for the next fiscal year on the order of 4.76% for average customers using 700 cubic feet of water per month. As well, there are also investments included within both budgets for capital projects and capital equipment purchases, which are continuing to be made and include the development of a form-based code, the purchase of a new ambulance, capital upgrades at the Polar Community Building, the purchase of a new Vector truck for sewer system maintenance, the purchase of a skid steer with a snow blower to further enhance sidewalk snow removal, continued investments in the sidewalk replacement program, the reconstruction of West 4th Avenue, the completion of the 3-mile road roundabout project, improvements to the Sherman Park Pavilion, improvements to the exterior of Canes Rink, and to the runway at Sanderson Airport, the purchase of police body and car cameras, and a variety of other water and sewer system upgrades. A summary of each of the public hearings follows. The first public hearing would be for the property tax levy. The proposed property tax levy for the 16-17 fiscal year is 16.8139 mils for city operating and 0.5632 mils for solid waste collection and composting. In addition, as noted, the city levies a millage to support the police and fire pension fund, and based on actuarial requirements, a levy of 5.3323 mils is required. The operating and solid waste millages would remain the same in the upcoming fiscal year, while the police and fire pension millage would be increased from 5.2115 mils to 5.3323 mils. The second public hearing pertains to water and sewer rates. The water and sewer rates proposed for the 16-17 fiscal year reflect the actual cost for the water and sewer system based on the estimated sale of water during the upcoming fiscal year. The proposed rates are composed of a monthly administrative charge, which is based on meter size. The administrative charge covers the cost of water meters, meter reading billing, and other administrative expenses that are charged on a flat fee per each city customer per month. There are also two variable charges, which include the commodity charge that covers the cost of the production of water and treatment of sewage, as well as a capital charge which covers the long-term bond payments for work that has been completed, such as the CSO separation project. The charges for costs outside of the city limits and bulk water production costs are also included in the resolution for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016. The third public hearing pertains to the user fee schedule. As noted, annually the city reviews and modifies the user fee schedule for the upcoming fiscal year. The user fee schedule is a comprehensive list of various fees that are charged for services within the city as modified by the City Commission during the budget work session. Along with the other budget documents, the user fee schedule has been posted on the city's website and has been made available in the city clerk's office and at the Bayless Public Library for inspection. A resolution for the purpose of adopting a fee schedule for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 has been included with the packet and information. And the fourth public hearing is for the General Appropriations Act. As noted, the final public hearing required for completing the budget appropriations process. The General Appropriations Act outlines the estimated revenues and authorized expenditure levels for the city's various funds. The General Appropriations Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 has been included for review. As also detailed previously, this year represents the first time that a 2-year budget has been developed and introduced. The second year of this budget, which covers the fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2017 and ending on June 30, 2018, has been conceptually introduced, and no legal adoption processes will be required for the second year of this budget. In closing, I would again like to express my appreciation to everyone that was involved in the development of the budget for the current fiscal year, as well as for the next 2 fiscal years. In particular, I would like to thank Finance Director and Treasurer Collins for her efforts in constant dedication to a fiscally prudent municipal operation, as well as Assistant City Manager Troyer and all of the department heads and employees engaged in the process. Would also like to acknowledge and appreciate the work of former City Commissioner Bill Munsell and the City Commission during this process. Accordingly, it's my recommendation, first, that the City Commission conduct a public hearing on the tax levy for operating expenses for the City of Sault Ste. Marie, with 16.8139 mills being levied for charter operations, 0.5632 mills being levied for waste collection and composting, and 5.3323 mills being levied for the police fire pension fund in order for the city to meet the actuarial requirements for this fund. Following the public hearing, I would recommend that the City Commission adopt the included final resolution for the purposes of establishing these millages.
Let's do one at a time, then you can go to two, and then we will follow in.
Sure.
So kind
Absolutely.
of break, give you a break.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay?
Grab some water.
Yeah, I want to grab two here. Oliver? I think my fireman cup, thanks. Okay, at this time, we'll hold a public hearing on the first item. There are four public hearings and then a final motion, and a couple of motions to get to that point too. So at this time, we'll hold the public hearing on the operating expenses for the City of Sault Ste. Marie, and as set by the explanation the city manager gave. Is there anyone in the audience like to talk at this time? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. City Commission. Commissioner Lynn.
So move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2 is the second public hearing.
Item 2, conduct a public hearing on the adoption of the water and sewer rates for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016, and ending June 30, 2017, including rates for entities outside of the city limits as well as bulk water production costs. Following the public hearing and considering any comments, the adoption of the resolution for these rates.
Okay, thank you. And at this time, we'll hold a public hearing on the adoption of the water and sewer rates for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 and ending July 30th, 2017, with the rates included as those explained by the city manager. Is anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public comment time. Commissioner Lynn.
So move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item number 3 is to conduct a public hearing on the proposed user fee schedule for the 2016 to 17 fiscal year, and following the public hearing to adopt the resolution regarding the same.
Okay, at this time, we'll hold the public hearing on the fee schedule for the 2016-17 fiscal year, as explained by the city manager. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to the City Commission. Commissioner Lynn.
So move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Motion carried. And the fourth.
Fourth item, conduct a public hearing on the General Appropriations Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016, and ending June 30, 2017, including the city's various operating funds, capital outlay and equipment purchases, and following public hearing, approving the General Appropriations Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016, and ending June 30, 2017, including those modifications made to the proposed budget during the commission review process.
Okay, and at this time, we'll hold the fourth public hearing on the General Appropriation Act for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016, and ending July 30th, 2017, as included by the city manager. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioner Lynn.
So move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you very much. And finally, Commissioner Lynn, item number 5.
So move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
Okay, it's to accept the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2017, and ending June 30th, 2018, the budget for the fiscal year beginning in that second year. And we will review that budget along with the following budget after that, too. So, are there any comments? Commissioner Tuarte?
Thank you. Just a comment. I was at a meeting today with Petoskey Chamber Director Carlin Smith, and I saw a really interesting bar graph where we're talking about the differences between constitutional and statutory revenue sharing. And he showed me nationwide where every other state in the country, although revenue sharing overall has been decreasing, we're the only state in the country who is actually below zero on the bar graph. And so I thought that that was really fascinating, and I know that cuts have been going on, but we're actually going below the bar graph and everybody else is above the bar graph. So it's really very sad. So that's one of the reasons that we're not able to do a lot of the programs and the projects that we want to complete if we could get revenue sharing up.
Thank you for the comments.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also, we went through that process fairly quick, but those people that have been involved in the process and have been watching commission meetings know that this has been going on for almost 6 months, probably, maybe a bit longer, by the staff, the department heads, and the commission has met a lot over these last several months and gone through the budget page by page so that we really understand what we're looking at and what we're doing, so that at this point in the process, it moves along fairly rapidly. So, and it's been transparent throughout. So, we certainly, again, as the city manager has done, we'd like to thank the staff that has been involved, the community members that have given input, the committees that have been there to help with the overall process, and certainly the commission for taking the time, as well as everyone else. So, thank you very much. We have not voted on the fifth one yet, but we have motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarte?
Yes.
Mayor Boswell?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
Item 6, communications. A is from Mayor Boswell, City Manager, Performance Evaluation Committee Report.
Okay, thank you very much. And I guess we get to lead this one, along with Commissioner Tuarte and Commissioner Bauer, who is not able to be with us tonight. There were certain tasks that we were to perform. I think the manager reviewed those, and I can just review them just briefly how we get to this point. Took action on April 4th, 2016, a regular meeting to appoint myself and the 2 commissioners as the committee. And we had the task of reviewing, there were about six items. Reviewing the progress made by the city manager on established goals and objectives for completion during the second year of his employment. And item number 2 was established goals and objectives for completing during the third year of his employment, and reviewing and discussing changes that could be made to the employment agreement between the city manager and ourselves as a city. And then 4, summarizing scores and comments received by any commissioner who completed the evaluation instrument crafted to measure the city manager's performance. 5th, discussing the contents of the performance evaluation with the city manager. And 6, conveying the information and the associated recommendations to the City Commission prior to the June 30th, 2016, in anticipation of the mutually agreed upon goals and objectives being adopted by the Commission prior to that date. And we did have this meeting, and the evaluation committee met and completed the evaluation by the committee regarding the city manager's performance. It was reviewed, and as a result of this meeting, the committee is recommending. And I'll give Commissioner Tuarte a chance to speak also, but the committee is recommending these items. The city, number 1, the City Commission extend the employment agreement between City Manager Oliver Turner and the City of Sault Ste. Marie by an additional year through June 30th, 2021, and further amend the agreement so that it extends by an additional year on each subsequent July or June 30th, beginning on June 30th, 2017, unless the agreement is terminated before any term extension date. 2, the Commission adopt the following mutually agreed upon goals for the third year of the City Manager's employment with the City of Sault Ste. Marie. And those are: A, the Manager will continue meeting with the public biannually at the Bayless Public Library or at an alternate venue. B, the Manager will present a manager's recommended budget for each fiscal year in which the minimum unrestricted fund balance is at the upper end of the 15-20% range. And as you saw from the discussion earlier on the budget, I think it was near 23%. Adopted by the City Commission on December the 2nd, 2013. The manager will make progress in completing each of the goals. Whoops, all of a sudden that got really large. You touch these things. The manager will make progress on completing each of these goals established by the Commission through its annual goal-setting process. D, the manager will obtain the overall evaluation score aggregate for all commissioners serving for each year of the employment that is at or above 4 on the evaluation instrument used by the commission, which is a maximum of 5. According to the evaluation committee, or finally is agreed upon that this, where is it? Commission. And finally, it's agreed upon that the annual salary of the city manager should be increased in a manner that is consistent with how the wages of bargaining unit employees and other administrative employees have been increased within recent years. Accordingly, the evaluation committee is recommending the annual salary of the city manager should be increased in a manner that, according to this evaluation committee, is recommending a salary increase that is reflecting a 1.75 increase wage for the city manager's first year of employment with the city from June 11th, 2014 through June 10th, 2015, during which time no increase was received, and that further reflects the 1.75 wage increase for the city manager's second year of employment with the city of this year going through June 10th of 2016. This would result in roughly a 3.53 wage increase that would become effective on July 1st, 2016, and increase the salary of the city manager from $90,000 per annual to $93,177 per annual. The score received by the city manager, very good, on his performance evaluation as determined by taking an average of scores of all the evaluations completed by the commission, was out of 5, he got 4.88, which is very good, and there's no question that the commission really thinks highly of our city manager, Oliver Turner, and he continues to do an exceptional job in his second year, and only his second year, but and he really likes Sault Ste. Marie, which we all feel fortunate to have him here and his family here as part of our community. Included in this agenda item is a proposed second extension to the referenced employment agreement, as well as the first extension approved in 2015 and the original employment agreement. So there's our recommendation. I would respect the City Commission to take action to receive the findings of the City Manager Performance Evaluation Committee, approve the presented May 16, 2016 extension to the employment agreement between the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan and Oliver Turner as presented, and approve the recommendation of the Evaluation Committee regarding compensation as presented. And we'll give him a chance to say a few words too. Let's go to Commissioner Tuarte.
Sure, thank you. I only had 3 comments that I wanted to make. Number 1, I think when we were setting down his goals this year, we had some really good ideas, and one of my favorite ones was that we sort of extended our community partners, and we really placed a lot of emphasis on working with our community partners and just engaging those relationships and fostering them so that we can become a well-rounded and better community overall. Number 2, this isn't well known, but I think that this is just a proof that we picked the right guy for the job. There was a recommendation that came to us as the committee that his raise should have been a little bit higher than what we ended up giving him, and he refused that twice. And he didn't want the raise that was recommended to us. He wanted to go with what the unions and everybody in the city had negotiated with. He felt that that was more suitable. So I think that's a perfect example of what his character is and who he is as a person. And number 3, I don't like to say that anybody's perfect. It's difficult to be perfect, but the fact that he got 4.88 out of 5 is huge, and that's a great testament to your character. And I really had a hard time constructively criticizing you, but I did find 1 or 2 small little things, and they were really nothing compared said about your job. I mean, you do your job so effectively and efficiently, and I'd love to pick you apart, but I just can't. So congratulations. Thank you
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Osterhout.
Yeah, also I just want to make a comment as well. In doing the evaluation, I reached out to some of the department heads as well, because there's questions in there I honestly did not have answers for. And I just want to extend as well that the department heads feel highly of Oliver. He's very proactive with them, and he reaches out to them for suggestions and everything else, and I commend you for that as well, Oliver.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Lynn.
It's so important that you have an excellent city manager, and we've got one.
And Commissioner Gage.
The last thing, and everybody's kind of said all the great stuff, but the thing I admire the most about Oliver is that I can text him at 6:30 a.m. or 12:30 a.m. and he'll have an answer within a half an hour usually. And I'm convinced that he's actually a robot. I'm not sure he's an actual human being, but he's fantastic. And this isn't a job where you usually make a lot of people happy. And I haven't really heard anybody have anything bad to say about Oliver, which I think speaks highly of him. So there's that.
City Manager, it's all yours.
Well, I certainly appreciate the comments and the evaluation scores, and I pursued public service to try to commit my life to improving communities, and I can't imagine having picked a better community to serve than the city of Sault Ste. Marie. I believe the scores that I received are certainly first and foremost reflective of the fact that we have an excellent administrative team. The department heads are just amazing at their work and very supportive, and I enjoy serving this commission and this community, and I'm very grateful to be here. And after the first year and a half, where it's certainly a rush to get your kids into school and integrate as much as possible, it's nice to be around the bend at 2 years and feel more settled in, and certainly, again, it's a pleasure. Appreciate the opportunity very much.
Well, we thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion? Let's go to Commissioner Gage.
So move, is it the manager's recommendation or is it the mayor's recommendation? on
No,
this one?
it's the committees.
So move the committee's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any additional comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosman?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, and thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission and staff.
Thank you.
The next item under communications is from the Community Services Board, approval of a proposal from Bird's Eye Adventures to provide paddle sport rentals at Sherman and Rotary Island Park.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. On this item, Assistant DPW and Parks and Recreation Director Wires is planning to make a presentation, and Mr. Ken Hopper is here tonight as well.
Evening, Dan.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Ken is here.
He's right.
Hey, Ken, there he is. I was
Front
looking
row.
for him. I couldn't see him. I'm glad you're here. Didn't see him come in. Ken and Wilda Hopper from the Bird's Eye Adventures came in April, and they sent an email. They come up with an idea, and it was an idea that I think is a very good idea for our city, and it has to do with canoe, kayak, and paddleboard rental service here in Sault Ste. Marie, and especially with the Low River Islands, Voyager Island, Heron Island, and those items that have been going, that have gone to the commission and have sought approval, and we have work that's being conducted on them. I asked Ken to put a proposal together, which he did, and we met with Oliver and myself. And eventually it went to the Community Services Board and back on April 26th and for them to consider. And the Community Services Board looked at it, and there was no question. This would be a great service for the city. You see a lot of other communities utilizing this with our waterfront. I think it's a great idea. And in essence, it's the trade-off is we'd allow this at Sherman Park and also at the Rotary Island Park. And as I know the Commission and the community know, Rotary Island Park is under lease to the city from the Army Corps of Engineers. And so we have sent along a request to them as well. And in essence, they're looking, Bird's Eye Adventures is looking to put a trailer in our park and be able to rent, have hours and be able to have some rentals. Ken may want to speak to that as well. And what we are waiting for from the Army Corps of Engineers is also final approval for that on Rotary Island Park. And I would certainly support it. The Community Services Board supported it. And in lieu of this, for the Low River Islands, Bird's Eye Adventures would be working with us to take care of some of the business on the island. They'd be looking at the island, filling in, taking off some garbage, going down through our trail system, restocking the toilets that are being planned. So they'd be helping us keep an eye on the Low River Island, island number 2, Voyager Island. And so I would certainly support it. The Community Services Board did, and I think it's a great and wonderful idea.
Any questions of Dan before? Commissioner Tuorty?
Well, thank you. I didn't have my microphone on, but now I do. I move that the City Commission approve the concept of the proposal as submitted by Ken and Wilda Hopper and authorize the City Manager to execute a 1-year agreement regarding the same, contingent upon the Army Corps of Engineers providing approval for Rotary Park to be used in support of this project.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved, supported. Just a comment, I see Ken's here. It's just a great use of a facility when you look at Bird's Eye Outfitters, and it becomes another entity, Bird's Eye Adventures, and you got Superior Roasting. I want to come up to the mic and just, we certainly appreciate the endeavor that you're undertaking and the use of some of the equipment and rental of that in some of our parks. It just makes it better for the youth, for the people, that make it accessible to them. So we really thank you for stepping up.
Well, thank you. I guess I'd like to comment that we don't want to take anything for granted. We understand that we appreciate what Sault Ste. Marie is, and we understand that there's more to Sault Ste. Marie than what we tend to advertise. So what we want to do is kind of give people a reason to make this a destination by adding another option to coming to Sault Ste. Marie. As a side note, we're going to be having TV 9 and 10 News here Wednesday morning, and we're going to strategically go to island number 2, and they're here for Bird's Eye Adventures, Bird's Eye Outfitters, to take them on a kayak trip.
Great.
But we're going to try to expose island number 2 and Sault Ste. Marie as well. So, and I'm also going to shamelessly plug our grand opening Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day and evening.
Commissioner Gage, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Ken for, one, putting this together, because I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great resource for our community, for our recreation. 2, to thank you for buying, renovating, and creating a new standard in downtown for business, in my mind. And for 3, just doing all this because it needs to happen. You know, I think that Ken and the things that he's doing is that entrepreneurial spirit that's so important to Sault Ste. Marie. And he's a fine example of what community is about. And I really appreciate you for doing all that you do.
Good comments. Commissioner Osterhout.
I want to just echo what Commissioner Gage just said as well. Ken, we really appreciate you coming into town and taking a building that has long needed attention and actually putting a lot of time and effort into that building. You've built a beautiful business. I enjoy going down there to visit the business myself, and I look forward to Bird's Eye Adventures as well. I think that's a great program. I think it's going to bring more people into this town, and the people that do visit, give them another opportunity of something else to do inside the city of Sault Ste. Marie. And I truly appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Torney.
Thank you. Yep, ditto, and I want to say just thanks a lot, because now I'm drinking 3 cups of coffee a day because I have to go to all of the coffee shops. So, and then one more comment was, let's not just kid here. You are such a marketing genius, and if you give people the opportunity to borrow a kayak, what are you going to do? You're going to sell kayaks.
Yes,
so congratulations on that. So good job, and thank you.
Yeah, I also wanted to thank Oliver and let him know that I appreciate his multiple whiteboards and to-do lists in his office.
I appreciate the caffeine.
Thank you. Thanks. We have motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Boston?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
The next item under communications is item C from the Downtown Development Authority, update on Sault Ste. Marie mural project.
Okay, thank you. City Manager. Oh, did we forgot one.
Yeah, I did. Smart Zone.
Smart Zone. It's not on this agenda, but,
You guys must have.
well, that'll come up. We have okay. Let's go to this one right now, and then we'll have
Okay.
Eric and the Smart Zone to finish up the communications. Okay? Yes.
Come around.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, Smart Zone CEO and President.
I thought we were going to do that. Let's do the one that you called, and then we'll come back to that one.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So we're doing the Downtown Development Authority update.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. And DDA Director Justin Knepper is here to present on that topic.
Okay, thanks.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Evening, Justin.
I have a quick website to bring up. Yeah, I shaved my beard and I'm not sure what I think about it. Okay, so the website that I'll be bringing up is actually what everybody hopefully will memorize and tell the world about. It's, I'm sorry, I'm just getting to the right spot here. It's called Patronicity. .org/Sue Murals, SALUT Murals. That's not it. Patronicity.com.
Need help?
I,
I'm a laptop expert.
You still haven't figured out how to turn yours on?
Sorry.
I might actually. Hold on,
Do we need to
it
get-
worked before.
Do we need to call Bonnie from behind the wall?
Let me go to.
'Cause you're gonna
Oh,
show-
there it's loading. It just was taking a very long time. Sault Ste. Marie Downtown Development Authority, we've been talking for a few years about, actually since I've been here, about all the walls that we have downtown and all the amazing space that we have available for murals, being large-scale paintings. We have a lot of artwork, a lot of sculptures throughout town, and a lot of indoor art, for example, in the River History Museum, in the Valley Camp, all over the place, here in City Hall even, quite a bit of artwork, but very little in the way of outdoor public art. So a few years ago, we found out that the Michigan Economic Development Corporation was partnering up with a company out of Detroit called Patronicity, which is a Michigan-grown crowdfunding website similar to GoFundMe.com and some of the others. And so this will be the first official crowdfunding grant that we are applying for, and hopefully we can get many more for all sorts of different projects going forward. Communities have done everything from building river walks to skateboard parks to mural projects to buying buildings and turning them into community centers. Everything and anything you can imagine. If you go to this website and click Discover, it actually shows you a lot of the other community projects. So this is in draft format. We're getting ready to launch on June 1st. What happens is we were pre-approved for a grant from the state based on the amount of money that we raise. And if we raise if we hit our goal, they double our money. So we went out for bids, we talked to a number of artists, we talked to a number of property owners, and agreed on 4 walls to start with at a total cost of $32,000. So we have to raise $16,000, and then the state will match us $16,000. This website, there's still a few things that is being updated. Most of the text is ready to go, so make sure, again, patronicity.com/Sue Murals. You can read through a few of these items. So the murals themselves, there's still a little bit of fine-tuning to do, as well as some final agreements on the actual artwork. So I've put placeholder art on a few of these walls. We'll start with location 1, a 30-foot by 30-foot mural on the south wall of Pingator Cleaners. This is one of the main access points into downtown Sault Ste. Marie, one of the first walls you see there by Burger King. The artist that we're currently talking to is a lady named Katie Eberts. She has done a lot of work here in Sault Ste. Marie, did the menu artwork for Carl's Cuisine. She currently does a lot of work down in Cedarville. They're opening a studio down in Cedarville. And this is a style of her artwork. Actually, this was used, this was done for UP Regional Planning. They did a magazine cover, and so I pasted that on there. She's currently in talks with Pingator Cleaners about a few variations on the artwork, but it will be of some sort of similar style. We call it kind of a whimsical look. So Rick Fitzpatrick at Pingator is making sure that he's fully comfortable with the art that's going on the wall. They're still talking about that, but it should be finalized. It could be a completely different picture, but again, that same style of artwork. The next location is on the side of the 1668 Winery Lochside Brewery, one of the biggest viewing points for tourists coming up from West Portage. Hopefully will act as a kind of a vantage point for people to look at and make their way up and around Ashman Street and back the other way as well. And this artwork is currently being proposed by Jean Tubman. She's a local artist that has done a tremendous amount of work in Sault Ste. Marie That artwork is pretty similar to what her and the owner of 1668 has agreed upon. Father Marquette in a canoe kind of coming up to the shores of Sault Ste. Marie, very historic mural. The next one is completely a mystery, and this was approved by the granting agencies. The back inside the Alpha Bar wood panel, you can just barely see peeking through on the picture on the left, is a mural that dates back quite a ways, and we don't know what it is. The general thought from Stothy Kritzelis and some of the family was that it might have been a large canoe of some sort, but what the goal will be is with the funding to both remove and restore the wall, as well as bring back the mural to life and use a new artist kind of creative license to refresh it and make it fit with our current goal of having the farmers market corner there really come to life. So we think that one is a mystery mural that will bring back some of our historic artwork that's been covered up for years and again refresh it. And then the fourth mural is above Bird's Eye Outfitters. You can see that long stretch of green wall that is on the side of Island Books and Crafts that is being proposed. We haven't gotten the Photoshop completed yet to put the rendering on it, but it will be a Gene Tubman painting of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And it's perfect size for kind of a long ship with probably some seagulls and some water and whatnot. And what's really neat, I think Les is in the audience, during the night of the Edmund Fitzgerald's wreck, there was one of the worst storms in Sault Ste. Marie in a long time in that November, and it blew water all throughout Portage Avenue and broke a hole in the side of his building, all sorts of stuff. So the Edmund Fitzgerald has kind of some significance that night back in, I think, in 1971. So that's the four walls we're starting with. And what this website does is once it goes live, we have 30 days to actually raise the money. So I'll be working along with hopefully a lot of the DDA board and members in the community as well as yourselves to promote the website. The only way to get the funding is by doing online pledges, and if we don't meet our goal, the pledges don't get charged to your credit card. Is how the crowdfunding works. So for example, if I go on this website once it's live, the goal is June 1st. I'd say I'm going to give $50. You enter your credit card, and then at the end of 30 days, your credit card will be charged if we hit our $16,000 goal. So there's no risk, but the reward is going to be huge. We'll be able to double our money and get the artwork done this summer. Open to different ideas and concepts on future artwork. A lot of what's driving this is our local artists who have the capabilities of getting the scaffolding and all of that. They have their own vision of what they'd like to see in Sault Ste. Marie, so it's kind of a balance between what the property owners would like, what the artists would like, and what the public would like. But we have a lot more opportunity coming up to add a lot of vibrancy, and one of the other things I want to mention is one of the other driving factors behind this is through 350th anniversary is a year and a half, 2 years away, and we want to make sure downtown is looking amazing, and public art goes a long way to do that. Any questions?
I have a question. I'll go to the rest of the commission. There is a large wall on the west Portage Avenue that is currently owned by the Corps of Engineers. It's all brick and it's painted gray, I think it is, yes, which would make a great freighter or something else on there, or maybe a welcome Lake Superior State University with a freighter in blue and gold. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, actually, we talked. I think city manager has brought that up a number of times. We're trying to get some information back from the Army Corps of Engineers. That would be an amazing place for a future mural, or even one along with this project. One of the things we're finding out is that with a combination of discounts from local paint companies in town, as well as just artists that might not be so concerned about. Well, with that wall, it doesn't require a lot of capital in terms of setting up scaffolding and access. So there might be opportunity that if we get permission from the Army Corps, we could get that painted and come up with an idea that the entire public could get involved in and really make that a great welcome point.
Great, thank you very much. And it's a great idea what you're doing, Commissioner Twardy and then Commissioner Gage.
Thank you. Yay. So you know that I've been wanting to do a crowdfunding project ever since we first heard about this 2.5 years ago. So I'm so excited that you're getting the first one going, because it's a great opportunity to get your community, even your state. So the people who pledge the money, they don't have to be from Sault Ste. Marie.
Absolutely.
They can be from anywhere in the country, in fact. And so I think it's a great way to get your community vested in change and movement forward in your community. And so I'm really excited to see this project get off the ground. Also, I think 2018 is a great time to get this done by, because with all of the stuff that's going to be happening with the roundabout and the business spur, a lot of the traffic is going to be directed right into downtown. So let's really make downtown look great.
Absolutely.
So.
Commissioner Gage.
Following up on the points that they've made, this is a fantastic idea. Super excited about it. I think that would be smart as a commission, and Oliver and Justin can reach out to other community partners as well, and look and see if we can get other people to jump on board with it outside of the city. And I can think of one particular entity that might be able to help out with a short-term 2% to help this out a little bit. So we might want to talk to some folks with the tribe about that as well. So.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else? Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
City Manager, anything else?
No, just would like to compliment the DDA for its work in this project, and certainly the vision that it reflects. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Osterhout, we need a motion.
Yes, I so prove that we support the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any additional questions? A roll call, please.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosphus?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item D is from the Smart Inc. President CEO Eric Beck's update on Smart Zone activities.
City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Bex is here tonight to present to the commission and provide an update. Thank you.
Evening, Eric. Did Justin mess that up? No. Okay. Eric?
Mayor Bosphus, Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity to give you just a quick update on a couple of things going on with the Smart Zone. I mean, we could talk here all night on a number of things, but just wanted to give you an update on a couple of quick items. Forgot how small I made this print.
You want to move the mic just a little bit towards you, Eric?
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So just to cover 3 items, Ineva USA, a new company come to town. A little bit on our Business Accelerator Fund program that's through the MEDC, and then kind of what our place is in this whole entrepreneurial ecosystem. Yes, excellent. So Ineva USA actually is our newest tenant in the Technology Business Accelerator building on Meridian. Christopher Trainer is president of the company, and he is working on developing his IncrediPower software product. Ineva USA is actually out of Holland, Michigan. They're a Michigan company, but they wanted to come up here, and so they're going to be working on this. It almost, at this point, defies description, at least by me. It is a little bit of a customer resource management software, but it's also documentation management, sort of an integrated approach. Through our Business Accelerator Fund, SMART has hired the Upper Peninsula Marketing Department located over in Holton area, And they're going to do a variety of things. They're going to help with conducting a beta test for the software. They're going to be doing some online surveys about the software and doing some focus groups. And so we will have at least one of those focus groups here in the Sioux. Some will be in different parts across the state. And then this marketing company is going to spend some time doing some competitive research. You know, what are the other products out there that will compete with IncrediPower? And finally, they'll present a summary to us, which of course the client will be involved with in this whole period, but that will pretty much end that process, at least this initial process. And this is made possible through the Business Accelerator Fund. The Business Accelerator Fund is a Michigan Economic Development Corporation project, and it is managed through the Michigan Small Business Development Center. They have a manager there that covers this program, as well as the Michigan Emerging Technologies Fund. And our local board, our Smart Zone board, has a certain amount of money each year that we can, you know, through our discretionary fund, we can do some of these projects. And so this year, $9,825 of that discretionary fund is going to this project. And we have another project. We've done a number of projects through the Business Accelerator Fund. And I'm getting ahead of my slides already. So as I said, it's administered by the Michigan Small Business Development Center, and the funding is available to participating accelerators. So mostly the participating accelerators are other smart zones. At the beginning of this project, we provided a letter of support for the general idea. The MEDC took that into consideration along with other smart zone letters of support, created this fund, and we have been a participating accelerator since the beginning. To date, we have received $148,000 into our smart zone. Now, largely that turns around in services directly. So, for example, in this particular case, we talked about IncrediPower is getting the benefit of that $9,800, but actually it is the smart zone that gets the grant from the Business Accelerator Fund, the smart zone that hires the marketing company, and then the smart zone client is the beneficiary of it. But the clients, you know, this isn't something that anyone can go up and apply for. Some of our projects so far, a company called Brute in Gladstone. That one was actually referred to us directly by the MEDC. We were close, and so we took that program. Orthopedic Design Innovations. We provided $7,500, excuse me, to hire Precision Edge to produce some initial surgical instruments. And then those sets of surgical instruments were used in these spinal type surgeries as clinical study. Superior Aqua Systems, Sinopra, AMI Hose. In fact, when they came up with a new product that they wanted certified for use by the OEMs, they needed to have some independent lab studies, and so the Smart Zone was able to hire IEL and have them do this lab study, and from that they were able to go forward and be able to provide their product to General Motors. P&P Power, we did a project for them. We hired UL to certify their product. That was a $13,000 plus engagement. US Ski Pole down in Sheboygan. We were also able to stretch the boundaries and convince the BAF to let us support putting the conduit into the EDC building for fiber. And we couldn't pay for the fiber, but we could pay for the trenching and having the conduit put in. And of course, Ineva USA and Bro Incorporated, that I'll talk more about after a press release comes out. We're still working with them on how they want to, that is the Sault Ste. Marie company as well. So if you look at the map, we're up here in the Sioux, but as far as MEDC projects go and MEDC programs, you know, the LDFA funds activities, they're essentially north of 3 Mile Road. But the smart zones from the state's viewpoint on their larger programs are expected to deal in the broader area. So I put that circle in there indicating the places that we have worked with clients to help MEDC resources get out. This is a borrowed slide from the Kauffman Foundation in 2009. I'm sure there are newer ones, but if you look at this slide, entrepreneurial startups create jobs. And if you look at the blue bars, job creation in startups, nice, positive. And then if you look at the red is net job creation absent startups. And there have been very few times where you've had no entrepreneurial startups and you've gotten positive job creation. Some of the infrastructure that we have here in Michigan, the smart zones, small business development center, the universities, research, tech transfer, pre-seed fund, and the Michigan Venture Fund are all pieces of the puzzle that help us address the needs of entrepreneurial startups. And finally, this is the, I guess in this economic development business, this is our chart called the Valley of Death. And initially, businesses operate in a negative mode. It takes money in to get them started, and they're typically funded by the what they call founders, friends, families, and fools. And then above that, though, are where the Michigan ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem, come into play, and where the smart zones make these connections between startups and the MEDC.
That's it. There's a question. Job creation, this smart zone, with the businesses that you have in there and have been involved with, what would you say? Can you say what the number has been since like the 2 years that you've been, or 4 years?
It's been small. Now I know that some smart zones count every job that gets created even after that job disappears, because there's a high mortality rate in startups. Mm-hmm. For example, the first company that we had in the Technology Business Accelerator building had about 5 people at one point, and so we can claim those 5 jobs. On the other hand, they went out of business, mm-hmm. and so, you know, didn't claim those jobs. So Skip Sims came up from Ann Arbor Spark and spoke at the Binational Conference a while ago and pointed out an important thing. Smart zones are in the business of creating companies. So the target is to get the companies. Mm-hmm. Once you get the companies created, then the jobs will
yes.
follow. Mm-hmm. So working with agencies like the SBDC to get contacts, the MEDC, you know, we're trying to get our
I guess
local entrepreneurs interested in.
Exactly. So right now you have another company that's moving in? You have presently one in there?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're dealing with, I don't know that the other company will move in the building, But they will reflect when they get going, and we're working with them on completing their prototype. And we're working through the small, yet another MEDC sponsored program, the SKIP TCA, which is Small Company Innovation Program Technology Commercialization Assistance. So we're working with a couple of companies right now to help them get their product to the point where then they'd be able to go out after first customers.
Okay, well, as we understand, the Smart Zone was to build entrepreneurs in the area and hopefully build factories, small factories, and continue their growth. So, I understand. Commissioner Tuardi.
Thank you. That's actually what my question was going to be. Out of all of the startup companies that we've had come through the Smart Zone, how many of them have established in Sault Ste. Marie and are still here, other than AMI? I know that AMI Hose is here.
So unfortunately, we've had the first one in there was Sinopra, and they went out of business. And yeah, we had really hopes for them, but a medical problem actually came up with one of their personnel, and then going after and convincing investors and banks to support that, that they just saw fit to go out. Currently, we have Superior Aqua Systems. They've been kind of slow to get going. They have, from time to time, anywhere up to about 5 people working on projects. This is a student-formed company. We also had in there another student company, Laker Tech Innovations. And unfortunately, they're kind of retrenching at this point too. So it's a high mortality rate business that we're in.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but is there a way to like foster that development? I don't through the
That's
city.
what they're.
I mean, I know that that's what they're doing. Is there somehow
The
like,
cooperation is existing, hopefully strengthening, and
through the EDC?
yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
I want to see something come to fruition.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So do we. And so we'll be doing some programs for entrepreneurs. And you'll see this starting up in the next few months, going through the summer. We're going to be doing a program called Start with Smart. And this will involve bringing potential companies with potential products and services in and working through what's called the So What, Who Cares, Why You program. And this is a 6-week program. Anyway, that's going to be coming up as we get into the summer here.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you.
Again,
thank you
for allowing me to address you tonight.
Thank you. Anytime. Thanks, Eric. Okay, item number 7 is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under the City Manager's report would provide for the consideration of a resolution supporting the safe operation of Line 5. As commissioners are aware, Ms. Adele Easterday addressed the City Commission at its April 18, 2016 regular meeting and requested that the Commission adopt a resolution regarding the operation of Line 5 by Enbridge, Inc. Presented and included within the packet is a resolution that the City Commission may consider regarding the subject matter. The resolution was closely modeled on other types of resolutions, certain other types of resolutions that have been passed regarding the subject matter by other jurisdictions. It would resolve that the Sault Ste. Marie City Commission call on the State of Michigan and the United States governments to be diligent in monitoring the safe operation of Line 5, and further, that Enbridge, Inc. is encouraged to ensure that it has appropriate and reliable pipeline shutoff mechanisms and procedures in place that can respond to a leak that occurs at any place in the pipeline immediately. And further resolve that if at any time there is reasonable evidence that the pipeline is likely to leak into the Straits of Mackinac, it should be shut down until the State of Michigan or federal government is satisfied that the pipeline is safe, and finally resolved that a plan proactively be made or continually updated to ensure that the needs of the thousands of customers who rely on the materials transported by Line 5 are met if the pipeline were to be shut down or removed. On Friday, May 13, 2016, Enbridge Incorporated confirmed that it would have representation at this meeting to address this matter. That is the extent of this report. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And we have a number of folks that want to speak to that, and you have a list?
I have a
See.
list, but I would ask when they come to the podium if they could sign in, just so I have the correct spelling for the record.
Okay, great. Let's start with the people as they gave us their names.
So the first I have on the list is Joanne.
And there's a 3-minute, there's a 3-minute time limit on each spokesperson. Joanne?
Good evening. My name is Joanne Conley. I am from Sheboygan County. I work with a group called the Straits Area Concerned Citizens, and we've been going around northern Michigan and mid-central Michigan regarding a resolution. Communities throughout Michigan are working to shut down and remove oil in Line 5 now. To date, 50 resolutions have been adopted asking the governor and the attorney general to implement their statutory responsibility under the 1953 easement. This effort is nonpartisan, reflecting the public's broad demand for action now. In fact, all of the counties, cities, and townships are majority Republicans, so it is a nonpartisan effort. I am here before you tonight to ask you to adopt the resolution because it is a simple ask and one that is not political, but rather an issue of civic responsibility. Please consider what is at stake. The Great Lakes are a drinking water source for over 35 million people and contain 20% of the world's fresh available water. Latest reports state the Great Lakes are linked to over 1.5 million jobs, 35% in Michigan alone. Tourism is one of Michigan's largest revenue sources, bringing in billions of dollars each year. Our agriculture, fisheries, shipping, and industry depend on a healthy Great Lakes ecosystem. It is easier to protect Michigan's water and environment by preventing contamination and environmental degradation rather than attempting a cleanup and restoration after a spill. At installation, a 50-year life expectancy was forecast for Line 5, and we are now at 63 years. Corrosion is the prime reason that pipelines fail, and our U.S. Coast Guard commander testified before Congress that the Coast Guard would be unable to respond effectively to an open water spill in the Great Lakes. Spill recovery companies say that recovering 30% is considered a good response. 70% will remain in our waters, and 10% if the lakes are frozen. Since 1999, Enbridge spills and other failures have released 181,311 barrels of liquid hydrocarbons into the environment. This is not acceptable. The number of spills per year from Enbridge pipelines has increased steadily from an average of 50 spills per year from 1999 to 2004 to an average of over 90 spills from 2010 to 2014. Again, not acceptable. The existing pipeline system due to to an enlarging Enbridge.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate those comments. If I could have, we're having a lot of speakers here tonight, so we don't need to clap. We all know where people are coming from, and we would just appreciate being respectful and getting the work that you need to do to get to get your time. So please, let's just listen to folks. We all know kind of where you're coming from, and we appreciate the clapping isn't necessary, I guess is what I'm saying. Thank you.
The next is Vincent.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Vincent Meta.
Could you pull the mic up?
Certainly.
Thank you.
My name is Vincent Meta. I'm a retired Chrysler engineer from Scientific Labs and Proving Grounds, and I have a very diverse background in hydraulic pump systems. The problem we have with Enbridge Line 5 is that it's considered by the pipeline industry a vintage pipeline. It's actually part of what's the problem with a lot of the United States, in that our infrastructure is old, sometimes neglected, and it's beginning to fail on us. And that seems to be part of what the problem is with this line, and why it's drawing such major concerns. The pipeline industry itself is regulating itself. Federal government, state government has somewhat stepped away from it, and they've been kind of self-regulating, so they don't have to report the data. The Attorney General, Bill Schuette, has requested data through the advisory board. Cambridge has given some data. Only about 50% of what's been requested. They claim to be transparent, but they seem to be holding back. So there's some funny numbers going on there. They also make claims, for example, in the Straits of Mackinac, that they operated at an operating pressure of 100 psi, excuse me, and that the operating pressure at 250 feet, the bottom of that lake, the lake pressure is 108 psi. They claim that the water would push into the pipe, or simply go up 16 feet, there's a leak that changes. So it's only for a very small margin of that. There's also been some, I noticed in your resolution that you're looking at some issues with propane gas in the Upper Peninsula. I went to many of the local suppliers in northern Michigan. They say they buy in the spot market. They don't go through a single source. They might go to Detroit, Erie, Indiana, Chicago, Wisconsin, wherever they get the cheapest amount of propane, that's where they go, so they can provide the lowest cost to their customers. So Enbridge is making a claim that they have, well, they actually their claims claim that they have a monopoly in the Upper Peninsula. That is not the truth. We'd like to encourage you to review your resolution. We think it's a good thing. I commend you for even considering it. I think it's really, truly the right thing to do. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Vincent.
Next, we have David.
I'm sorry, I can't write and talk at the same time.
It's certainly okay.
My name is David. My name is David Dwyer from Mackinac City. I'm a retired professor of linguistic anthropology at Michigan State University, but that's not why I'm here. Like everyone, or not everyone else, but many people here, we are concerned about what might happen in a spill with Pipeline 5. And I was looking at your resolution, and I wanted to call your attention to the second, be it further resolved, on the second page of your resolution, which says that if at any time there is reasonable evidence that the pipeline is likely to leak into the Straits of Mackinac, it should be shut down until the state of Michigan or the federal government is satisfied that the pipeline is safe. Now, my concern is that this begins with sort of a presumption that the pipeline is safe. And I would like to begin with the presumption that we would like to know it is safe. We know that when we get on an airplane or into our car, we don't want to presume that the car or the airplane is safe. We want to know that it's safe. Airlines have engineers that check things out. I think there's a simple way to correct this particular resolution, and that is to begin right at the end and to say, until the state of Michigan or the federal government is satisfied that the pipeline is safe, it should be shut down. And if at any time there is reasonable reason to believe that the pipeline is likely to leak, then it should also be shut down. So that's a slight shift in things, but it reflects the spirit of what you're really trying to say, because at the end you are trying to say that you want the guarantees from either the state of Michigan or the federal government that there's that the pipeline is safe. And I should add in closing that there are many people who are very concerned, engineers, independent engineers, I should say, that have raised questions about the safety of the pipeline. And that's why it's so important that this resolution go forward to put the pressure on Enbridge to release the data and also to encourage the state to move forward with the guarantees that the pipeline
the city. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Next, we have Rich.
I'd like to thank for the time here, Commissioners, Mayor. My name's Rich Lewis.
Richard, could you identify yourself just for the record?
My name's Richard Lewis. I'm a resident of Sault Ste. Marie here for the last almost 64 years. I'm not here because of, the sky is falling, or I'm worried about the trees. Let Hannah, Daryl Hannah take care of that, or the wolves, they could take care of themselves. Living in Sault Ste. Marie for all those years, it's like we're by it. I've been on it, playing hockey, ice fishing. If I'm not on it, I'm in it or living by it. It is probably one of the most beautiful things about this city and this state. We're not that far from the Straits of Mackinac. To me, like I said, to me, I'm in agreement with a lot of things that I've heard at other places. And like I said, I have to commend you for even considering this resolution. There are many communities that, would appreciate it, the 50 communities and other counties in the area of the state of Michigan. Like I said, the groups that I'm, affiliated with on this, we're hoping, that the city of Sault Ste. Marie supports, looks at it and support, complete removal of this shut down. And being one of the leading cities in the Upper Peninsula, you'd be the first to set this, to do so, and also send a letter to Governor Rick Snyder, Attorney General Bill Schuette, and to take, somewhat swift action on this, because it's like I said, everything I've heard tonight is dealing with water bills, new people starting businesses on water, and we've already got problems up here every time it rains, right across the river. So we don't get into that. It's it's an issue that, like I thought in the late 70s with Perrier water, that it was just a passing trend. But Perrier water's still here, I see. And I no longer drink out of the faucets along our garden hoses and some things change. And, hopefully you give this serious consideration. And I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Richard.
Next, we have Joe.
I'm the guy climbing the mountain right now. Thank you all for your time, consideration. So good. Yep. Joe Calcaterra with Enbridge Energy, graduate of Lake State Environmental Science. Give you some background on the pipeline. Built obviously in 1953 from Superior, Wisconsin, hits Marysville, crosses over to Sarnia. 30-inch pipeline at the Straits, goes into two 20-inch lines that are almost an inch thick. It was an engineering feat at that time and still is today. It's made from extruded metal, so there's no sidewall seam. The only seam is a butt-end connecting seam. That's it. X-rayed at the time. It's covered with the coal tar coating. They give it that lifespan that's been spoken of. That was prior to cathodic protection.
We now have cathodic protection that takes the electrons, that gives the pipe the life. It's hydro tested at 1,667 PSI. Our allowable limit is 600. The average is 300. At the straights where it splits, averages 90 to 100. And that's because the last pump station is at Gould City, and Mackinac City is a suction pump station. So it pulls it through and sends it to the other side. It can be isolated if there's damage. There's valves put in place that 3 minutes to shut down. Let's see. The line is specifically designed for light crude and NGLs. It provides 85% of the propane needs to the UP and the upper lower. 30% of the oil that comes through that comes back to Michigan in fuel. It's inspected eternally with MRI-like equipment for corrosion, dents, deformation, cracking, and then we also do cable tools looking at those welds. Externally, every even year, it's looked at on the outside for damage, coated with divers, ROVs, AUVs. It's monitored 24/7 in the control center, and they're highly trained. The computer can shut it down in an instant. In 2015 alone, we did 113 integrity digs, costing us $31.3 million. There's 80,000 union worker hours, which now amounts to $7 million from, and this is derived from a mailing of 13,000 Michigan union labor members working on this pipe and helping maintain the life of this pipe. I'm here, if I still have a minute, can I answer questions?
Oh, we don't, just go ahead and make your statements, and thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Next, we have Leslie.
Mayor Mossfuss, City Commissioners, thank you for bringing this important issue to our attention and giving consideration to it.
Leslie, could you identify yourself for the record?
Leslie Dauberton.
Thanks.
And I was a resident of Sault Ste. Marie, a retired Lake State professor. I've been asked by Diane and Carl Meyer to read a statement because they cannot be here. They've been given permission for us to do this, and I share their sentiments, so this is my statement as well. We've lived in Sault Ste. Marie for 40 years and still spend our summers in the Sioux because we are always reconnected with the land, the water, and the people. It is very important to the Great Lakes region that Enbridge Line 5 be shut down. It poses a threat to the ecosystem of the lakes, the land, the economy, tourism, fish and wildlife, and the people. Some of the reasons are mentioned in your proposed resolution. However, you ask only for diligence in monitoring safe operation of Line 5. That is not enough. There is no way to guarantee safe operation. Enbridge's track record for spills is atrocious. The Watershed Sentinel report gives details on the oil spilled and leaked from Enbridge's pipe on land and water from 2000 to 2010. There were 132,713 barrels of oil spilled during that period. That equals more than half the Exxon Valdez spill, 157,000 barrels of oil. The Kalamazoo River, one of Enron's notorious spills, in 2010 cost $1 billion, and that river system will never be the same. And that is just a river system that will flow could be eventually stopped. We have emailed the Water Sentinel report to the mayor and the commissioner so you have this information available to you. When one looks at the details of the condition of the 60-plus-year-old pipes under the Straits of Mackinac, it is obvious we're playing Russian roulette with the Great Lakes. There is no possible emergency spill response that could undo the damage. Keep in mind that the water moves a long distance and the oil will move both upstream and downstream and affect many communities in the U.S. and in Canada. Over 39 local governments and municipalities in Michigan have adopted resolutions for shutting down Line 5. We ask you to join them in sending a strong message that nothing short of shutting down Line 5 will protect the Great Lakes. A number of years ago, action was taken locally to prevent the Coast Guard from contaminating the Great Lakes with lead to propose live fire training. Certainly, firearm training. Certainly, the oil in the lakes poses a greater threat. We urge you to take action by adopting a strong resolution insisting that Enbridge Line 5 be shut down and the oil, bitumen, tar sands crude, or other products never be allowed to flow through the pipes under the Straits of Mackinac or anywhere in the Great Lakes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Anthony.
Hello, my name is Anthony Tracer. My family is a business family. We're from McDonald. My wife, Lana Tracer, is a photographer on McDonald. She does weddings. I don't know how I can really express to you all the things I would like to be able to say to you. As a businessman myself, and being from McDonald, which all I can see Straits area, consider us to be ground zero. But what I would like to say to you, being the third oldest committee here, we understand you're the oldest, sitting the biggest, the second, we're the third. That you understand that if you want to know about an issue, you go to the place that knows it feels it the strongest. I can tell you in McDonald passed a resolution that actually does something that I don't see in this resolution at all. We passed it unanimously. Pretty soon, the owner of the Grand Hotel, Chris Schuckler from the Line 5 Advisory, Governor's Line 5 Advisory panel, and we're all going to get together and attempt to influence the entire state on this issue because we are going to experience this first. As Chris told me, as we sat at the head of all of us are business families, and we know each other personally. We talk to each other, we work with each other, we went to school with each other, and we talk to each other. Every time we see each other, we all know each other. He sat there looking out at the bridge at the head of Shuckler's Dock, the home that he grew up with, just like I grew up on McDowell, 100 feet of property we have on the downtown, on the harbor, right next to kayaking up there, you're probably here, to go, and I see those kayaks out, I know that this community is going to take off. I really see this community as a community based on water, as Richard said. What I would like to let you know about is that if you want to find out more about this, listen to these communities that see this, that see Joe Calcatera, Jason Manchin, and Blake Olson. We've all seen them numerous times, and every time it just gets more and more ridiculous. If you want to find out about Niagara Falls, or want to find out about other issues that are central to those places, like for example, the spill of poison into the river, there you go there and find it out. I hope that with each of you, businessmen, that you would listen to us on that ground and hear us out. And I would like to offer this information that we've gleaned to each of you if you would be willing to suggest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony.
Next, we have Anne Marie.
Too huge a project for one hearing.
I would love when things like this involve so many people, affect so many people, that we would have a regular routine of holding town meetings. My name is Anne Marie Asquith. I'm from this area for a long time. Thank you for this opportunity. I don't think that your proposal matches the seriousness of our responsibility. You know, fresh, cold water is not just a local treasure that's always going to be here. It's a national treasure. It's a planet treasure, which is in the category of importance as air is and soil. And we live right now at a moment in history where water is endangered all over the world. Actually, nothing can live without water. So we are now in a major sixth extinction of life throughout the world because of polluted water, evaporated water. My nephew works in satellite systems, and the most obvious thing he notices from imaging are the salt lakes all over the world. I mean, the salt marks of no water. We are also in a time of global warming, so that's connected. You can't poo-poo it anymore. It's connected. So we've got a big ship, like a big ship of the planet. We have to turn around away from fossil fuel. Now we have a lot in reserves, but we have to turn the ship away from it. We have started to have some alternatives like solar, and but we haven't even started to invent what we can do to make new power. But we have to turn the ship around fast. Now, who starts this? Somebody's got to start it. But I used to have a dream, and it's my disappointment, that the Eastern UP would be, have the highest bar for natural health. Because our natural health is our greatest capital.
Next, we have Danielle. Mayor Basmus, can she allow Mr. Paymont to speak on her behalf in her time slot?
Sure, or we can allow Aaron to speak after, since he came in late, we wouldn't recognize that he's the tribal chair.
Hi, I'm Danielle King. I'm a resident of Sault Ste. Marie, and Sioux tribe member, and a life form in our Great Lakes ecosystem, our very special freshwater. So I wanted to support at least the resolution and urge, you know, the people before me have said some great words that I want to leave it to them, but I support what they've said and I hope you consider. Thank you.
Next, we have Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil Melfi, and I don't live in the Sault Ste. Marie. I live in Sioux Township, but I'm very happy to have the opportunity to come before the city commission in the area. Speak on this important issue. I won't repeat everything that everybody else said, but I'd like to bring up a couple of points of clarification. There was a pipeline company that was trying to get a pipeline approved in Canada up in the Pacific Northwest. And they actually put into their application that it would create a whole bunch of jobs. So we talk about a lot of jobs, yeah, we could get a whole lot of jobs cleaning up that mess if it ever breaks down in space. Another point of clarification is talk about the valves that we're supposedly going to be shut down. We'll shut down this thing automatically. Just last week, at a public hearing, some members official apparently said that the valve is stuck. It's been there for 63 years. It's stuck. So even if they did push a button someplace in Manitoba, it might not even work. Another point. The resolutions have been passed by 150 municipalities, but no one's mentioned the fact that there's probably about 200 businesses that have also supported the water mix campaign to keep oil out of that pipeline. We're not talking about shutting down the pipeline and yanking it out of the river and out of the street. We're talking about we don't want any oil going through it. But everybody agrees. The Coast Guard, the response team, if that thing breaks, you cannot recover the oil. And you could follow as much as 800 miles of shore. No one's mentioned that 5 tribes have passed resolutions, and Florida itself has passed a resolution. And Enbridge says that it's about an inch thick. It's actually less than an inch thick when it was originally built. But their own data, which they're not making very public, shows it has been corroded to about a half inch in some places. And 63 years, we can expect that to be continually eroding as time goes on. The most important thing, I think, for everybody to consider, if Enbridge or any other pipeline company was proposed to put a pipeline across the streets of Mackinac today, they would never, ever, ever be allowed to build it. And so my argument is, if they can't have one there today, well, then they should yank the damn thing out there.
That was everybody on the list other than Aaron? Came in just right away.
Ani Buju Biwakajig Bawating and Donjaba. I introduced myself in our traditional way and also told you that I'm from Bawating, as our ancestors would do, because this is an issue of great importance. And I'm here to speak on behalf of our ancestors who've lived in this territory since time immemorial. We entered a treaty in 1822 that allowed the locks to be built. We entered a treaty in 1836 that allowed Michigan to become a state and retain the rights and protection over the Great Lakes waters. I'm from a tribal fishing community. It's very important to me. Our community is a fishing community since time immemorial. We have found gill nets and dated the carbon dated gill nets from the time of Jesus Christ. So we have been here for a long period of time. This issue threatens our livelihood that has been our livelihood for centuries with the spill. I'm the chair of the Chippewa-Ottawa Resource Authority and the vice chair of the United Tribes of Michigan and the Midwest Alliance of Sovereign Tribes. And I'm here to tell you that Indians all throughout the Midwest oppose this pipeline and have passed resolutions to call for the shutdown of this pipeline because it's dangerous. I also have the distinction of having worked as the executive director for the Huron-Band of Potawatomi when the spill happened there. The newspapers described the Enbridge and the local response as Keystone Cops. It's interesting to hear today a representative of Enbridge say that they can shut it down on a moment's notice or a second's notice. Well, that certainly wasn't the case when 17 hours the alarm was sounding while 1 million gallons of oil spilt into the Kalamazoo River, permanently destroying the ecosystem in that community forever. So they're going to tell you this because they're trying to get a profit. They're going to say whatever they have to say to keep that pipeline because even a Republican Attorney General has made it clear that they would not be able to build the pipeline today. So some say it can't happen, it won't happen. It happened in Kalamazoo in 2010. It happened in Manistee in 2015. If you're not aware of it, there was a natural gas spill in Manistee in 2015, and I believe that a spill is imminent. Everything that we know about this tells us that a spill is imminent. It is going to happen. So it's on your conscience now. It is your responsibility as the people who are seated in an elected position today to make sure that you follow through with the respect and government-to-government relations that we entered into when we first signed the treaty that allowed this area and this community to become settled. And so I would not want it on my conscience that you would not support at least the minimum measure that you have. And I do appreciate the minimum measure that you have in front of us. I can't be bought. I was on a committee with the hospital where Enbridge is pumping funds through the DEQ and the DNR to try to rebuild Father Marquette Park in Mackinac City. And when I found out that Enbridge was behind it, as much as I want that to be restored, so don't be bought off by a few trinkets and a few shiny beans and golds. Resist it. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. That concludes the...
We fell for that. Don't fall for that.
No, thank you. That's everybody that had their hand up plus one, right? Okay. Well, we certainly, on behalf of the commission, thank you very much for the information. It was excellent information. I think, we came, personally I came tonight looking at our resolution thinking it was appropriate. I mean, it's followed pretty much what the county commission had done, and the manager put the resolution out there, and it had a lot of fail-safe type things. But after just listening from the representatives and the information that you have, there's no question that it should be a little stronger. And I know Commissioner Lynn was of the same feeling I was, and I would think that, I know Commissioner Gage has another resolution here that he's sort of drafted, but I certainly thank you for the information. It's enlightening to understand and to hear from people that you really, especially Mackinac City or Mackinac Island, you live it because it's right there. And there's no question that it's an old pipeline, and I'm not speaking, for the commission because I'm sure others have similar type things, but I think that it has to be stronger. Personally, I would vote for a stronger resolution, and hopefully get the governors. I know the evaluation is going on, and I thought it appropriate at the time that we wait for the evaluation before you jump wholeheartedly into this thing, because we really aren't. I'm not a professional engineer, and I don't pretend to be, but I think when you listen to the people involved in the time taken that you have taken to come here and present, and very respectful, we really appreciate that as a commission. So thank you very much. Carmen? No clapping. Thanks. Commissioner Lynn.
I agree with the mayor. I was all set to vote for this resolution. I think it's an excellent resolution, by the way. But what I liked about this meeting, this group, is when I was mayor, I didn't always have that. There was items that got wild. Nobody made any outlandish statements. Nobody yelled, screamed, or what have you. I like what the engineer said. I'm no engineer, not even close. I don't know anything about a pipeline. I was 11 years old when it was built, okay? What the two professors said. But I think we need to have a stronger resolution than what we have here.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to Commissioner Ostrom, and then we'll come back in. I'll give you last say, Commissioner Gage.
Yes, I agree with you as well, and going through this resolution, and I think that should probably be a little bit more strongly worded, and I would be in support of tabling this for a further time to revisit the wording in this resolution.
Don't support that yet.
Yeah.
If you support it, there's no more talking. So.
Yeah. Commissioner Twardy?
Thank you. I came here tonight with my own set of questions that I wanted answered because I knew that the Enbridge representative was going to be here, and so now listening to all of the community members, and thank you for coming from Mackinac Island and as far as down as Sheboygan. I really appreciate that, and again the engineers' statements that you had said, and so now I do have my own questions. I'm wondering if maybe we do even need to maybe have a town hall meeting so that more people can come out and just tell us how they feel. I think that taking a look for sure at the Mackinac Island resolution is a great idea, because again, they're a group of people that are going to be at ground zero, and they would immediately have to be evacuated had something happened to the pipeline. I do know that Bill Schuette came out yesterday and said that he is concerned, that he is getting some information that potentially we need to have more information, not potentially, I know we need to have more information. I don't think that this is a circumstance where we can sit here and say shoulda, woulda, coulda, because if something does happen, we're losing the Great Lakes, and that's the reason that we all live here, and that's the most valuable source of what we are as the state of Michigan. And so jumping on this a little bit more hard rather than soft, I think is definitely the way to go about this.
Okay, thank you. And then before I let Commissioner Gage, who has already drafted a resolution, I'm not sure where it came from, but I think it's important that we do something tonight. And it sends a message with these folks here, so we can come back and take this is pretty strong, though, the resolution that Commissioner Gage is drafted, and I would think it wouldn't be hard to recommend that, and at least going away, then we wouldn't have to meet again in town hall. I think there's enough urgency to that we get people signing on, and hopefully more cities will sign on. It takes a snowball effect type of thing. So Commissioner Gage, you're on. Boom. Commissioner Lynn.
Just a question, are you going to read?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Are you going to read this whole?
No,
just
Yeah, you know which ones, I'm sure.
It's just one paragraph, right?
But thank you for the diligence on that resolution, because there were some other things maybe going to transpire, but this is much better.
So I just want to begin by saying that I really appreciate the respectful tone by everyone tonight, and this is a great example of what happens when you come in an issue with the facts, with cool heads, not hyperbole. And this is, to me, it's an incredible night. I almost cried a little bit, so I'm all excited. So, so the whereases would be that therefore be it resolved that on this day, blank blank, the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan puts forth a resolution in support of H.R. 182 and H.R. 15, introduced by State Representative Sarah Roberts and Jeff Irwin, who is Mitch Irwin's son, by the way, for those historians in the room, calling on Governor Rick Snyder and Attorney General Bill Schuette to shut down Line 5, joining nearly 50 communities and counties, and counting, including Traverse City, Mackinac Island, Blaise Blank Island, Bois Blanc, Lachino, Clark Township, and most recently Boyne City and now Sault Ste. Marie. And also be therefore resolved that the City of Sault Ste. Marie supports the complete removal of Pipeline 5 that lies beneath the Mackinac Bridge forever, being the leading city in the Upper Peninsula and the first community in Michigan to do so, and will send a letter to Governor Rick Snyder, Attorney General Bill Schuette, our state representative, state senator, and U.S. senators, calling them to take swift action to shut down and remove Line 5, acting in full support of State Senate Bill SB 880. And there's a bit more just boilerplate stuff, and it's just.
Was that a motion?
That is my motion, that we move to a substitute amendment for this resolution in place of the one on the agenda.
Support.
Commissioner Lynn.
What kind of authority does the federal government have over this pipeline?
Oh, sorry.
Anybody know the answer to that?
I'll let city manager go, and then you can call on somebody.
I would confess that I do not have any idea as to what.
Joanne, could you come to the mic, Joanne? Sure. Just so the folks at home can hear you.
The state only has authority over the Straits of Mackinac. The feds have it over the other 640 miles. So across US 2, and as it comes out of Mackinac City, all the way to Sarnia. Okay. But not the Straits.
The Straits of the city?
The state of Michigan has total authority under the bottom lands.
Okay, thank you, Joanne.
Just one other thing. And I noticed that St. Ignace has not voted on this.
They have not.
We
have not given up.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
We're all set? We have motion and support? Yes. Of the, you understand, city manager?
So, as I understand, the motion is on the amendment. And we vote on that first? Okay.
So, to confirm the will of the commission, the resolution that has been brought forth by Commissioner Gage would completely substitute that in the agenda, and it would be sent to our state level elected officials, Governor Snyder, as well as appropriate state level regulatory agencies, as well as perhaps appropriate federal level agencies.
Everyone understand that?
Yep.
No question? Okay. Any further questions? Roll call.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Motion carried, and thank you very much. Now you give a clap. Yeah, we do appreciate your input. It was excellent. Thank you. Okay.
They should stick around for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, city manager.
After we got an hour plus drive.
No. Yeah, we'll give you a second to clear if you'd like.
Thank you very much. You've done a wonderful thing.
Thank you for coming up. Okay, we're gonna continue on the meeting here, so if you want to visit out in the hall, that'd be fine. Okay, thanks again for coming. City manager.
Item B, under the city manager's report, would provide for the authorization to establish a budget for the Polar Community Building roof replacement project and to seek bids to complete the project. On this matter, Assistant DPW Director Dan Wires is planning to make a presentation.
Okay. Good to see you again, Dan.
Mayor and Commission. I have a few photos here that the public will be able to also see, and I want to start out by saying that back in 2012, maybe even some time frame before that, we started to see some of the issues related to the ceiling of the structure at the Polar Community Building, and as part of a evaluation report from UP Engineers and Architects, George Kieskala, who's their main structural engineer, came and took a look at the ceiling structure, and really a lot of this happened because one of the boards just happened to fall right down onto the ice. So we started to take a look at this starting back in 2012, and you can see by this one photo here, both photos where a board had fallen, and right past that board is really the actual roof itself. And so with this deterioration, we addressed this in the past renovations that was just completed, and we put in some, the painting, some liner panels to really dress that up. And what we also found is that the roof was still leaking. And here's some other photos that you can see where some of the deck boards were missing. What we did find, though, is that we do have a good ceiling. We do have a good structure there. Just had some areas that were pretty rough. But again, we're starting to get some leaking, and some of it we're starting to come through the vents. And as part of the renovations project, 2 cupolas were added to the roof, and main ceiling repairs were put on. We did a lot of patching. We did quite a few things, some things around the vent. This is part of some of these photos here were part of the structural evaluation. This is the back on the north roof. This roof has already been replaced. These are an old photo. These have been replaced, and also even an additional support has been put on the back roof for the snow load that comes off. We took some added steps. We went up there ourselves, took a look. We looked around, and we saw some things we didn't really like. We did bring SIDOC group in last May. And some of these photos you're going to see are some of the inspection photos that you see from up on top of the roof. As you can see, there's existing roof is cracking, and you're starting to see some separations, some cracking on the photo on the right, some separations on the left. And here too, you can see where one of the pipes just broke off, and a lot of that's due to the snow load that comes off the roof. And also here's a vent that's been kind of caved into a point with, again, the snow load that comes off the roof. The photo on the left is actually, the seams are starting to give way. And on the far right, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but you can see where some of the fasteners are starting to come through, and they've been patched on the picture, the photo on the right. And those are the photos that I wanted you to see. So we asked UP engineers to come up with a plan and some cost estimates for the roof, which you did get in your packet. And cost effectively, what we came up with was the option number 3 that you did get in your packet from UP engineers, and that was to install over top of the existing roof 1.5 inches of new insulation and a new 80 mil membrane over that. And also, as I understand it, they're called crickets. It's like a reverse dormer that would be around the chimney and around the vents, so that when the snow load were to come down, it would separate the snow load and send it away from that, so we wouldn't get the damage that we've received in the past. Also around the four vents, we have 2 cupolas, and around the 2 vents where we do get some leaking, there'd be some custom weather guards that would be put in place to prevent that from happening. And also the option would be for the added insulation. It would slow down snow load, provide heat savings, and certainly allow for a 20-year or 20-year plus warranty on this. This is an option that's at some point, I know years ago, I think the last time it was replaced was back in the 80s. We've done a lot of patching, and we've had a lot of leaking, and it's something that we're continuously working with. So this would help take care of that, eliminate that around the vents. We do need the vents. We've asked Steve Aikinen and UP engineers, and we need to keep the vents. So those we'll keep in place. And this project would help support the puller and to keep that sustainable and keep that roof in place.
Commissioner Lane, you have a question?
Yep, what is the guarantee? How many years is it?
I understand it's 20. Is there 20 or 20 plus years?
It was an 80, wasn't it an 80, William? Commissioner Lynn, weren't you the one that put that roof on, your group?
Back in
1985?
82, we raised some
okay.
money. Well, it's basically, you could do it for 20-some thousand back then.
Yeah.
But it literally saved it for years. But of course, with the new systems and the new membranes, it's fantastic. They last for decades.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Good, okay.
And I just asked Jeremy Gagnon, who's here from UP Engineers and Architects. He said it's 30 years. I misspoke, sorry about that.
You'll still be mayor, and I might still be alive. I'm not sure.
No, won't happen. Commissioner Twarney.
Thank you. Just a quick comment. I'm glad that we're replacing the roof on the puller. It's always been interesting the last couple of years sitting there watching a hockey game and during a hard rainfall, watching rain fall right into the rink. So that we're going to lose that entertainment factor, though. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions of?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Osterhout, and then we'll go to Commissioner Lynn.
Yeah, Dan, when we were doing the remodeling projects in the Eagles locker room and everything else, I know that we were having some snow load coming off the upper roof and hitting the back roof, and it was causing some issues. Are we addressing that at the same time, or?
That has been addressed to the point where the north roof did receive a brand new roof. And last year we also expended some dollars to put a, does it come up with the right word, a support piece on top of that roof that also had some wood and another membrane on it. So it's kind of like a double roof in the sense where the snow load comes off, it's going to hit that. It may create some damage. It may hit that. That's something that we can patch, but the main roof below that will stay intact. That's the plan. And hopefully we're going to see some, hopefully there won't be as much heat loss potentially, so maybe our snow load won't come off quite the same. We are addressing that, so I believe the coming out over the Zamboni room and also the back entrance to further push that snow away from those entrances. But so we should have a lot of protections with that too. And the worst that happens is on that north roof, if we start to get a lot of damage, and we did not get any this year, but that's something that we could address down the road just to continually help give that, not a new roof, but it would be certainly give it some support. So.
And we all know we didn't have much snow this year.
Yeah.
So I think we're in fairly good shape on the north.
Anyone else have any questions? Oh, Commissioner Lynn.
Yeah, just, I know back in 1982, everybody knows where the electrical panel is. You've seen it, where you go up to what we always call the rink rat room. the water was literally pouring down, and we, at that time, the city was broke. We couldn't even buy 2 new police cars, so we were in a fix. We had a lot of people donate to the roof, and it basically saved the building for that time. But with the Puller fundraiser and what the city commission did, that life expectancy, I was told, Dan, you probably know it too from the engineers, maybe 3 to 5 years, and she'd been shut down. So we literally saved the building. And we got, and if you don't have a good roof, you don't have a good building in Sault Ste. Marie. Trust me, I know. So we've got to do this.
Okay. Thank you. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. There are 2 recommendations in front of the Commission for its consideration. The first would be approving option 3 of the UP Engineers and Architects estimate for the Puller roof replacement project in the amount of $214,700 and $8,500 for the cost of the design, engineering services, and construction management, for the total cost not to exceed $223,200, and secondarily to authorize transfers of $133,000 from the land sales reserve in the special revenue fund, which is the amount expected from proceeds from the sale of the golf course, and the remaining $90,500 from the general fund for the completion of this project. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. There are 2 recommendations in discussion with the city attorney. Those are 2 separate motions. Commissioner, let's go with Commissioner Lind again, since you were 30 years ago involved in this thing. We'll let you make the motion.
How about I move that we approve the city manager's recommendation?
For item number 1.
Number 1.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Any questions? My only statement would be, I'm hoping that this is a really conservative estimate, and the estimate that comes in for the Puller is a lot less than that. You can only keep your fingers crossed, I guess.
Well, we go to church every week.
Yeah.
And we'll pray for it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes. Motion carried. And Commissioner Lind, item number 2.
So move the city manager's recommendation of where the money's coming from.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Tuarty.
Just kind of a humorous comment. I just wanted to say that look at the sale of the golf course is coming back to us and really working well for us.
Thank you. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item C, under the city manager's report, would provide for the award of a contract to C2AE for the design of 4th Avenue. On this matter, City Engineer Basista is making a presentation.
Evening, Linda.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm going to close this and okay, as Commission is aware, we're planning to reconstruct 4th Avenue next summer. And in March, my office put out a request for proposals for the design engineering services for the reconstruction of 4th Avenue. And on the screen is the map. Sometimes it's hard in this area to identify. When you talk about West 4th, we're doing the reconstruction from Hyde Street, which is just west of where Easter Day ends. And then the ending will be where a previous project reconstructed Oak Street, or that a small portion of 4th Street just east of where 4th Avenue turns and goes across the railroad tracks where it meets up with Oak Street. So that's a 3-way intersection with 2 legs of the intersection being 4th Avenue and 1 leg being Oak Street. So that's the project limits just west of Ash Street. So Hyde to, I've been calling it Oak Street, but it really doesn't go all the way to Oak Street. In response to the RFP that we put out in March, we received 11 proposals, which was quite surprising to me. And so it was, in starting out, it was a process of elimination. Just in some cases just based on price, as some were way out of the range. And then the rest of the proposals were evaluated based on their firms, based on relevant experience with administering MDOT construction projects, because as you know, it's our practice to ask the consultant who did the design to submit a construction engineering proposal. And because Fourth Avenue is being in part funded by MDOT local agency projects, they have to, the construction and design, it all gets bid out through MDOT, and then the construction has to proceed. Construction engineering services have to be in accordance with MDOT procedures. The other three criteria was project understanding and the consultant's approach, the current capacity for them to accomplish the work in the time required, as we are anticipating going out for bid in February of 2017 in order to be ready for construction early. And then finally, fee. Upon review of all the proposals, taking into account all of the criteria, I'm recommending that C2AE be awarded the contract for design engineering services. They have an office in Gaylord. That's where their road group is. That's who does the design. That's out of their Gaylord office. And I believe they will serve this project in the city in the best interest. And recommend award of a contract in the amount of $30,700. And because this project was budgeted, $30,000 was budgeted to start the design in the current fiscal year. The next fiscal year that you just approved the budget for, the remaining design and engineering and construction is in the budget you just approved. We do need a $700 budget adjustment in order to cover the full amount, contract amount, this current fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. We have a recommended city manager. Anything else?
Nothing else. Just appreciate the work of the engineering department in securing the grant funds necessary to complete this project. Certainly, this is a project that has been requested on a number of occasions by citizens.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Twardy.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I should abstain from the vote because my son is a summer intern based out of the Escanaba office with C2AE.
That would be fine.
Okay.
Just a question of City Engineer D. The curve by the old fire hall, which is now resident, you know, how that road, will they pay particular attention to how that road is designed?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
because that's
that
always a
will be all
trouble
reconstructed
spot.
through there. The design will include drainage
Yes.
in order to get the water away from the road. Kind of sits on between the road and the hill right now, and I imagine with the curve that the sharpness of the curve, it'll probably be a super elevated cross section. That's where. Yeah.
I would think enough catch basins to make sure the water coming off the hill is taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Commissioner Gage.
I know a lot of people that are going to be really, really happy to see that road fixed. And one in particular has called me quite a few times and been very vocal about fixing that road. And so with that, I move that the City Commission authorize the city manager to execute a contract with C2AE for the design of 4th Avenue reconstruction in the amount of $30,700.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any additional questions? Roll call, please. Thanks, Linda.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item D, under the city manager's report, would provide for the acceptance of the DPW complex space needs and conceptual design study prepared by Northwest Design Group and the approval of a contract amendment for additional engineering services. Again, City Engineer of Assistance.
Thank you. As Commission is aware, we awarded a contract to Northwest Design Group in February 2015 to perform a space needs study and conceptual design alternatives for the Department of Public Works complex. And also, as Commission is aware, I presented the report, or at least the recommended findings and at the goal-setting session on February 8th. In your packet and available on our website is the final report, so folks can go out and look at all the alternatives that were considered as part of the report and the cost estimates associated with that. There were 6 alternatives and cost estimates developed for as part of the report, and NDG introduced to us a process by which which is called choosing by advantages, and that's where you lay out the specifics about a project with respect to 3 to 4 items that are most important to us as the owner in selecting from those 6 alternatives. And so that means because sometimes we just want to go to price and say, okay, well, this is the least expensive alternative, but in the end it may not be the best alternative for the city. And so included in your packet and also available in the report is the method for choosing by advantages. And in this process, we staff that included City Manager Turner, myself, DPW Director Jim Morrow, Assistant DPW Director and Parks Rec Director Dan Wires, and Street Superintendent Bill Anderson. Worked with NDG on doing the scoring, the choosing by alternatives, and we came out with we believe we should pursue concept 4B as contained in the report, and it has a conceptual cost estimate of about $6.2 million. Some of the other alternatives that we select that were considered included adjacent property. Currently, the school owns adjacent property, owns the 2 buildings that are twins to our 2 current existing buildings. And then also the current business on the corner of Easter Day and Seymour. That property was also considered in the alternatives, but one thing to keep in mind is that the cost estimates that included considering the adjacent and purchasing the adjacent property did not include a cost estimate for the purchase of that property. We just weren't in a position to value the property and know what the cost would be. But the concept, recommended concept 4B does not require the purchase of the adjacent properties. The concept does include a new salt storage shed with containment and material bins, a new street department building with a wash bay. As you know, we're not able to wash down our equipment. The relocation of the snowmobile trail that currently runs through the property and compost area. You may know that we have a conflict with the snowmobile trail and our operations within DPW currently. And this alternative will get the snowmobile trail away from the operations. The demolition of the Water and Sewer Department storage building, which is that little green building close to Easter Day. And the Water and Sewer Department storage then would get relocated to one of the 2 existing buildings as the Street Department is relocated into a new building. And then various related site improvements and then modifications to the existing 2 large buildings for offices and restrooms, locker rooms, and boiler system, needs new fire protection system, and so forth. So we believe that we made the selection that is most in the best interest of the city, especially with respect to, since we're we propose to stay within the existing site, that we need to be able to make these improvements while still providing our services to our customers, including being able to snowplow, being able to get to the storage piles for gravel and sand and salt and whatnot. And then just being able to have our crews being able to still operate effectively. So this option does allow that to happen. We do need to take certain steps in order to accomplish that. First thing being the salt storage. As you're aware, we've been on a list for the salt storage building being in disrepair, that we need a new salt storage building, and as you know, we do house MDOT's salt. We store MDOT salt as well that's used on the spur and trunk line and M129 that we maintain. So the most important part is getting the salt storage built. That would move it to a different location, which then the site could get readied for the rest of the improvements. Before you tonight is to accept the final report on the DPW space complex space needs and conceptual design study as prepared by NDG. I'd also ask that you approve I'm going to be asking you to approve a contract amendment to NDG's contract to perform the preliminary engineering for Concept 4B, including the final design of the salt storage shed in the amount of $60,000. That will get us to the final design, have us ready to bid out the construction of the new salt storage building, and have done the preliminary engineering, including the necessary soil borings, topographic survey, and refining the cost estimates and the phasing for implementing the overall project eventually. And then in order to cover the salt storage or NDG's design next step of services, we'll need a $60,000 budget amendment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Leather? City Manager, any further comments?
The only other comment that I would add, and thank you for that presentation, City Engineer Basista, is that after the expenditure of the $60,000, if it's approved by the City Commission, there would still be a balance of approximately $1.533 million in the DPW Complex Improvement Fund for future improvements.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. There are three motions or recommendations on the in the packet there, and discussion with the city attorney. Those are three separate motions. Commissioner Gage.
We've talked about this quite a bit, and with that, I move that the City Commission accept the final report on the DPW Complex Space Needs and Conceptual Design Study.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Boswell?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Motion carried. Commissioner Gage.
I move that the City Commission approve a budget amendment in the amount of $60,000 to the DPW Complex Plan project.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call.
Mayor Boswell?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And the final.
I move that the City Commission approve a contract amendment to NDG's contract to perform preliminary engineering for Concept 4B, including the final design of the salt storage shed in the amount of $60,000.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Boswell?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item E under the City Manager's report would provide for the consideration of a resolution to permit ORV operation on certain portions of West Portage Avenue, West Spruce Street, Tremps Grand Avenue, Ridge Street, Osborne Boulevard, and Maloney's Alley. On the subject matter, Planning and Zoning Administrator Freeman is going to present to the City Commission.
Evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So since the City Commission last dealt with this item on the 18th, there have been two important developments. First of all is the final version of the route, which, Bonnie, if you could put that up on the TVs. The original one that you saw last month, when we actually went out and drove it, Linda identified some visibility issues, so this is the new version. And then we held a public open house, actually last week, Tuesday. There were a number of comments that we received, many of them positive. Those pertaining to the actual operation of the trail were mostly issues of enforcement, such as how we're going to make sure that there's no conflicts between ORV users and pedestrians and bicyclists, enforcing age limits, preventing access to closed streets. And Also noting that the Power Canal Trail, once that is finished, is not available for RV use. I believe that with proper signage, people generally behave themselves. Obviously, there would be the few percentage people who will operate outside of the norm, but we have a fantastic police department to deal with them. One of those suggestions also was to reevaluate after a period of time, say 6 to 12 months, to see if there's any changes that we need to make operationally once we have an idea of how it's being used. As far as next steps, if the City Commission approves the resolution that's before you tonight, would be to continue to work with the Sorva Group on signage. If there's any questions, that's pretty much all I've got tonight. Mr. Dave Smithers is here. He's very patiently waited and spent his evening with us, so if there's any questions that I can't answer, he certainly can take care of those.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Kelly?
My only question,
Commissioner Gage?
my only question is why we switched from grow cap. Was it because of the trees at that corner there? Grow cap and Portage?
Actually, coming over the bridge on Portage, going northbound, the original idea was to have, if I can find my mouse cursor here, which it's not, oh, it's disappearing, I think. Yeah, it is disappearing.
It's hiding behind the picture.
Yeah.
Grand Trempe.
Going north over the West Portage Bridge, the idea was to have them go up to Gore Cap and then take a left, but it's difficult to see them in a vehicle coming over, so taking them right off at Spruce is a safer option.
Okay.
Smart. That makes sense.
Okay. Commissioner Twardy? Motion?
Yes, I would like to make the motion. I move that the City Commission adopt the included and presented resolution.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Boswell?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item
Thank you.
F, under the City Manager's Report, would provide for the approval of a contract amendment to SIDOT Group's contract to perform construction engineering services for the 2016 Streets Capital Preventative Maintenance Project. As Commissioners are aware, construction contract was awarded to Baco Construction to complete the Streets Capital Preventative Maintenance Project consisting of West 3rd Avenue, Sheridan, and Tremps Grand at the May 2nd, 2016 City Commission meeting. The project was designed by SIDOT Group, and it has long been an established practice of the city to have the design engineer perform construction engineering services. Accordingly, SIDOT Group was requested to provide a proposal to perform these services. The scope of work and fee stated in the proposal is within the expectations of the city engineer as well as the approved budget, and was submitted in the amount of $16,725. A pre-construction meeting has been held with Baco on May 9th, which intends to start work this week on the project. Baco is expecting to complete the work within 2 weeks of starting, which would be well within the contract completion date. Accordingly, it is my recommendation that the City Commission approve the contract amendment to SIDOT Group's current professional services contract 513526 in an amount not to exceed $16,725. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes, I so move we support the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It is moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Commissioner Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Boswell?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
That concludes the City Manager's Report. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We have the number 8, the status report.
Under status report, in regards to the citywide cleanup, it is the 21st annual citywide cleanup this weekend on Saturday. If you come to the fire hall at 8:30, you'll be able to register for a route, and the cleanup is between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Certainly welcome everybody and anybody with an interest. And after the cleanup, the traditional picnic will be held at Sherman Park between 12 and 3. Hot dogs, hamburgers, and a lot of fun. So certainly encourage everybody to attend.
Okay, again, the commission was West Portage, and we'll have breakfast at Frank's at about 7:30.
In your buying, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure I can
Yeah.
do it because I hurt my knee twisting at my daughter's 30th birthday party.
Sure.
Maybe, can I just go for breakfast?
Sure. And then you can follow along.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Also, Seymour the Sea Duck will be coming with us, by the way.
Yes,
He's coming
okay.
out, so that's going to be
Okay,
kind of fun.
that's good.
Seymour the Sea Duck,
Okay.
everyone's favorite duck.
Thank you. We hope everyone has a good time. This is supposed to be pretty nice this weekend. So,
Finally.
excellent.
Concludes the status report section of the agenda. Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 9, matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to make a comment at this time? Cloverland if you'd like to do it at this time, Dan, that would be great. If you'd identify yourself for the record, we'd appreciate it.
I'm Dan Dasho, and I'm President and CEO of Cloverland Electric. Mayor, Commissioners, here tonight to just talk briefly about our right-of-way maintenance program in the city. I've worked with the city manager and the city engineer on coming up with a plan to do a presentation here in the chambers as offered by the mayor and the commission to lay out our plan for the right-of-way maintenance that's occurring in the city and will continue through October. We have our areas where we'll be doing the work. We've got our timing that we're working on, and we're going to tie this all together with our GIS system and the city's information so that we can present the public with where we'll be and when we'll be there. And we're working on that right now, and we expect to have that meeting in early June.
Excellent. Okay, and then that will be publicized, I would hope? It'll be publicized
Yes,
in the local
we'll
media?
put a notice out to let everybody know when we're going to do that.
Okay.
And the city manager's already given me some dates that the chambers will be available.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions of Commissioner Gage?
I just want to say that I appreciate you, one, staying here the entire meeting. You're a busy man, and we appreciate you staying so late. And two, I want to commend you and say I appreciate the fact that you are going to hold a public information session. And I want to acknowledge the staff that you have here. You've got quite a few folks, if you want to point them out for me.
Yes, the chairman of our board, Bob Shallop, is here. I've got Jim Wilson, and he's the guy to call if you have any questions about trees. And Jim Mackey, who's head of our director of our safety program, and Julie Chadwick, our executive assistant.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We look forward to that discussion, at least the information going to the public. That's great. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, Linda Hoth, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
What a long meeting.
Yeah.
No, but I wanted to say, I'm sorry I can't go with you Saturday, but if you see me out and about, I have 10 people from Through Travel Michigan coming up. They're Chinese. They're from China, and we're doing a fam tour in Sound. So if you see us, say hello. Okay.
Now swing by.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm trying to show them the good side.
We're keeping our city clean.
We'll keep it on your side. So if you see us, please say hello.
Okay, you bet.
Because we've got 10 Chinese coming from China this time, and next month also, and German travel writers too.
Oh, nice.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Anyone else? Okay, item number 10, matters presented by the commission. Commissioner Tuardi?
I'll start, and then I'll ask you to maybe hop in here for a second. But I just wanted to extend my extreme sorrow to the Kalia family, Crane family, and Payton families. We lost an amazing woman over the weekend, and she was such a great teacher. She was such a great volunteer, Nicole Kalia Payton. And I'm really saddened by it, and I know that you might want to expand on it.
Then you just, it's very hard to deal with that kind of a thing, and we certainly our prayers and thoughts certainly with the Kalia family, and certainly Bobby's been involved with the Puller a very long time and helped us with the fundraising, and just a good family, and losing a daughter is very tough, so our prayers are certainly with them, and extend certainly our well wishes for everybody. Thanks. Commissioner Lynn.
Your Honor, it's been a long meeting.
Yes.
So moved that we adjourn. It was a very productive meeting.
Support.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.